Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about car rental collision waiver protection insurance that's offered on a lot of travel-oriented credit cards. If you're out there looking for a travel credit card, chances are most of the best ones that are worth your while will have this coverage thrown in one way or another, whether it be a free option with some of the new Chase Freedom Flex cards, Wells Fargo, Amex Propel, Capital One, Amex, cards offered by American Express themselves, or other cards issued by airlines as well. They'll usually include this as a benefit, and I'm here today to talk to you about what exactly it covers, what it doesn't, how you can get coverage, and things that you should think about to make sure that you're not excluded from coverage. This is part of my series detailing credit card benefits, so if you want to learn more, be sure to stay subscribed to the channel, check out the playlist. I've previously done an overview, intro, and also deep dive into cell phone protection offered by credit cards. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a like, join the community Discord, comment down below if you have any questions or anything else you want me to cover. So let's get into it. The number one thing I think most people should know is that even though this is a benefit offered by a lot of credit cards, the actual terms and conditions will vary widely from card to card. And there can be charts, you can do some research online, but a lot of these can be misleading because there are so many cards and each specific card may have a different set of limits or different coverages for cards even issued by the same bank or card issuer. So what you're going to want to do is either call the number on the back of your card and ask them what exactly is covered, or read your documents, read the plan documents, the documents explaining your benefits to see exactly what your card covers. And also, before you go out on a vacation, before you get a rental car, go online and check again to get the most up-to-date benefits guide, because these things can and will change from time to time, even with your same card. So you want to be sure to make sure you know what's covered as of today, as of now. Even this video in just a couple of years may become outdated. You might have to redo this video. As with all of these benefits, check with your credit card issuer, with your bank, to see exactly what's covered under your credit card. In this video, I will go over two general examples of some commonly seen coverages, but once again, these will vary. So we're going to start off with the generals. What does a person, maybe me, I'm new to this, I don't do all the research, I don't read all the plans, I just sign up for a credit card, I'll read the marketing material, kind of know what's covered. What do I think is covered? From just an average person, an average consumer, if I look at this, I see rental collision waiver, but in my head, I might not necessarily focus on the collision part. Commonly, people refer to this as car rental insurance, rental car insurance. We just know pretty much that if something happens to a rental car, we might not have to pay for it. What's important here is that this is a collision waiver. So this will only apply in most instances to damage or losses to your rental car. So if you get injured, someone else gets injured, you damage another vehicle, those things may not be covered. And also liability can also be a big concern. It's another huge part of auto insurance. Liability is not covered anywhere in most of these policies. So what you're going to have to do is make sure that you pay with the rental car in full with the credit card that you want to use to have the benefits. This is usually a pretty big requirement. And next, you want to go ahead and decline the waiver that they offer you when you rent your car. Technically, what they offer you is a collision waiver, right? The car insurance company obviously has insurance on all of their cars. They're not just going to depend on people to purchase their insurance. Even if you decline it, that car will still be covered. But if you accept it, it just means that they won't go after you or your insurance for the payments. They'll waive any charges and take care of it themselves. So when you're at the car rental counter, you decline the coverage, then this benefit from your card kicks in. And now it can go either one of two ways. First way, better option of the two, is primary coverage. So we talked about last time the cell phone protection a lot of the times is secondary. Primary meaning that you do not have to go through your own personal auto insurance or any other insurance that could cover a potential collision event, you can go straight to whoever's administering this plan for your credit card and file a claim through them. This primary coverage usually is offered by some of the more premium travel or rewards credit cards. Think of annual fees, the Chase, Sapphire, Reserve, Amex Platinum, things that will come with an annual fee, while most of the free options will give you secondary collision waiver coverage, meaning that you will first have to go through whatever insurance you have, either your personal auto insurance or if you have any other insurance that could cover such an event. And then if you don't have enough limits there or they can't cover it, then the insurance offered by your credit card will come and kick in. And I do believe if you do not have a personal auto insurance policy, this will kick in first. If you rent or drive a lot of cars, you might still want to look into getting some type of non-owned or some type of policy for your rental vehicles. You might not want to rely on this all the time, but from my understanding, this will kick in. So we talk about collision coverage. So what's not covered here? If something is stolen from your rental vehicle, the actual item that's stolen may also not be covered. These are usually covered under a homeowners or renter's insurance policy. Check with your policy or your agent for more details, but maybe if the glass is damaged or the windshield is swiped, that damage may be covered. So now we're going to take a deep dive into these two common ones. First, I'll take a look at a sample guide from a primary coverage perspective and then a sample guide from a secondary coverage perspective. This was only the benefits guide that I found online for these credit cards, and as I mentioned, these can and will change from time to time, so check with your documents, with your plan, to get the most relevant information for you. So first off, we're going to take a look at the primary coverage that's offered through Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card. This is one of the more expensive, more premium rewards and travel credit cards out there. Comes with a pretty hefty annual fee, but let's see what you get. So here are the limits, the basics. They're offering $75,000 on a rental period of no more than 31 days. So these are the limits, and what's covered here: theft, damage, valid loss of use charges imposed by your auto rental company, administrative fees, and reasonable customary towing charges to the nearest repair facility. This will cover no other type of loss. And how do you use it? You first have to decline the rental company's offer for collision waiver. If you accidentally accept, you will be on the hook for it. This coverage will not come in. And this coverage is pretty valuable to have because sometimes the collision waivers offered by rental car insurance companies can range anywhere from like $10 to $30 per day. So if you're going to go on a vacation, rent a car for a week or two, that can really add up and save you, $200 to $500. Definitely a nice perk to have. And if you can find a credit card that gives you at least secondary coverage for free, it's worth having. And for Chase, this coverage is available in the United States and most foreign countries. If you're going somewhere outside the US, check with Chase, check with the credit card benefits to make sure your destination is covered. So that's what's covered, but now let's take a look into what's not covered under this plan. These ones, again, will vary, but most things have some variation of these terms. Antique cars or exotic or luxury cars. Chase may list out some certain brands that are excluded, typically like high-end, like Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I've seen Tesla on these lists. Certain high-end makes or models of other brands, BMW, Lexus, Mercedes, may also be excluded. Other policies have a value for the car. If it's worth more than $50,000, it's not going to be included. Even like a normal sports car, if it's on the higher end, it may be excluded. So just be sure that you know what's included. They also exclude cargo vans, motorcycles, motorbikes, limos, recreational vehicles, and passenger vans with more than 9 people. And I'm just going to go through some of the highlights of what's not covered as well. Injury to anybody, loss or theft of personal belongings, personal liability. So if someone sues you, they won't pay for any of those liabilities or any fees associated with that. Depreciation of the rental vehicle. I know Reddit's really big on depreciation value. Anytime someone talks about car insurance, people talk about, oh, going after the depreciation, maybe you can get some extra money for that. This coverage will not cover any of that if the rental company decides to charge you for it. Theft or damage if you're under the influence of alcohol, drugs, other illegal activities, wear and tear, damage due to off-road operations. So be careful if you're going somewhere, it requires some off-roading. it may not cover it. Leases aren't covered. Vehicles that are not rented from a rental agency, so if you like borrow someone's car, if it's not an official rental agency, they might not cover it. So yeah, a whole list of exclusions. These will vary, but this is a pretty extensive list. I mentioned this before, but once again, if you're just going on a family vacation, renting a normal compact car like a Ford Focus or whatever, you're just driving around the city, going to tourist spots, not doing anything reckless or kind of weird with your car, you should be covered. Just make sure you pay with the car that you want to use the benefits and decline whatever they offer you at the counter. Next up, how to file a claim. This is important because if something happens, you want to know what you need to keep track of to be able to file a claim. So Chase has a list of documents and things, and the important thing here is to keep track of the timeline. You should try to file as soon as possible, but they want you to file within 60 days of the accident. So this is not 60 days from the date you rented the car. It's not 60 days from the date your rental ended. 60 days from whenever the incident happened. So be sure to keep track of that timeline. If you don't do it right during your vacation, you come back home, kind of forget about it, coverage may lapse and you may not be able to file that claim. So do it. Make sure you get a copy of all the documents if something happens to make sure you're covered. And they also require you to complete a claim form within 100 days of the damage date. So the next benefit, it's going to be mostly the same, but I just want to run through another example of secondary coverage. This time we're looking at the Wells Fargo American Express Propel credit card. Free credit card, no annual fee, but provides you secondary instead of primary coverage. So the main difference here is that if you do have your own personal auto insurance and you get into an accident, you will have to file a claim through them before you can collect anything from this benefit given to you by your credit card. So for example, if you rear end somebody and your car is damaged for, let's say, $5,000, if you have auto insurance and they will pick up the tab for it, you can't go and claim here. But once again, I believe if you don't have car insurance, then this will pick it up anyways because you don't have any other insurance, but just double check with your plan to make sure. First off here, looking at Wells Fargo American Express terms, looks like this applies to only North America. So before with the Chase Sapphire, we saw that applied worldwide to most territories. Here is saying North America car rental insurance. So if you're going somewhere international, check with them. I would advise you check with them anyways, even if it says worldwide coverage, just to be sure. And also here, the limits are a little bit different. They're giving you $50,000 and a period of 31 days. As before, we had 75,000, and some more premium cards may even give you up to 100,000. Once again, check with your card to see how much coverage you have. But mostly the same things here. You have to pay for that rental entirely with your Wells Fargo card. You have to decline the collision waiver that the rental car insurance offers you at the counter. And exclusions wise, most of the same things here. Criminal acts, forgery, confiscation, intoxicated, damage from wear and tear. And once again, this will only cover collision. It won't cover theft of anything. It won't cover liability, medical payments. That's all excluded and would be covered by some other type of insurance that you may have. And same thing here again with vehicles that are not covered. Limited edition vehicles, high value vehicles, trucks, RVs, campers, pickup trucks, minibuses, high value vehicles. I talked about this earlier. They're putting a value on the amount that they will not cover. Any car that's worth over $50,000 will not be covered. Antiques as well. And here, Wells Fargo is giving you 45 days from the date of the incident to report. And they have also some documents that they want you to submit, similar to the Chase, once again, but now 40 days instead of what Chase was offering you, 60 days. So that was kind of an in-depth look at some of the more detailed terms and conditions of rental car collision waiver coverage provided by credit cards. I really cannot stress this enough. These benefits will vary from card to card. Everyone's card will be slightly different. There's even a difference between the Chase Sapphire Preferred and Reserved card. So even within that lineup, there's a difference. So I cannot overstate this. Check with your benefits, but this was meant to be more of a general guide. I think you guys have seen some trends that are covered. The big takeaway here is collision only. Theft, liability is not going to be covered. You have to decline the collision waiver that's offered to you. You have to pay for the rental in full with your card. Try to file that claim as soon as possible. Make sure you get a copy of all those documents that they're requesting. But even then, there could be some card with some crazy benefit that doesn't require you to do one of those things. So check with your card issuer. Take a couple minutes to read those documents. But that's all I have for you today in this series. I'm going to be making more on some of the other perks covered in future weeks, so get subscribed. You don't want to miss that. Comment down below if there's anything I missed in this video, your experiences maybe, if you've had to ever file a claim, and if you have any suggestions for things you want me to cover next, I'll definitely be sure to take a look at it. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.